All right, so you'd feel like you're just, I don't know, living in your car these days.
Oh, tell me about it.
It seems like everyone's kind of battling that whole traffic thing, wishing for some, well, any other way to get around, really.
Yeah.
So today we're going to do a deep dive into why America seems so, I don't know, hooked on cars, right?
Okay, yeah.
Is it like a true love affair, or is there something else going on under the hood, so to speak?
I like that. Under the hood.
We've got some really fascinating analysis to guide us on this one, and it unpacks a lot of the factors behind America's car dependence. What's really interesting is that well, it's not as straightforward as you might think.
Yeah, the idea that Americans just woke up one day and chose cars over everything else, buses, trains, walking, whatever.
Right.
It's not really the whole picture.
So you're saying it wasn't just like a natural evolution of, people's preferences.
Exactly. Our source dives into this powerful group called the Motordom Lobby back in the early 1900s. It was this coalition of everyone involved in cars, manufacturers, dealers, even clubs. And they really pushed hard for policies that basically made car ownership and driving the top priority.
So they had a big influence on how things developed.
Huge. Think about it. Imagine if instead of sprawling suburbs around highways, we had invested in walkable cities and really awesome public transportation from the beginning.
Yeah, that's a whole different world.
It makes you wonder how different our cities would be today. And our lives, really.
Totally. It's like this one choice, this push for cars, it kind of set us on a certain path. And that path has had some pretty big consequences, wouldn't you say?
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, our source points out that the average American spends, wait for it, over $12,000 a year on car ownership.
Whoa, that's a lot of cash.
And when you break that down, it's not just, the price tag on the car itself, right? You've got insurance, gas, maintenance, and let's not forget parking.
Ugh, parking. Don't even get me started.
In some cities, it's like a whole other car payment every month.
It's crazy. And then there's the time we lose just sitting in traffic.
Oh yeah, the time cost. It's insane. The average American basically loses a whole work week every year stuck in traffic jams.
It's like working an extra week for free.
Exactly. And then there's the safety aspect. It's kind of the sobering thought. The U.S. has one of the worst records for traffic fatalities among developed nations. And unfortunately, pedestrian deaths have actually been increasing in recent years.
It's pretty alarming when you think about it.
So, I mean, how are other countries doing things differently? The analysis compares the U.S. to Europe, where people aren't nearly as dependent on their cars.
Right, and a lot of that comes down to conscious choices. Many European countries prioritized public transportation and implemented policies like, congestion pricing, which basically means you pay a fee to drive into busy areas during peak hours.
So it encourages people to use other forms of transportation.
Exactly, and these strategies have led to a lot more walking, cycling, and public transit use in European city. Think about London's congestion charge. It's actually been really successful at reducing traffic in the city center.
And Amsterdam, they're famous for their bikes, right?
Oh yeah, their bike infrastructure is amazing. People actually use it.
Now, I know what some of our listeners might be thinking, but public transportation in the U.S. is expensive and inefficient. And, they've got a point. It's not perfect.
No, it's definitely a fair point, and our source acknowledges that. One of the big problems it highlights is the lack of standardized station designs.
So every station is like a unique snowflake.
Pretty much, and that drives up construction costs compared to countries that use more modular, cookie-cutter approaches.
Makes sense.
Plus, budget management for public transit in the U.S. can be, shall we say, less efficient than in some other countries, which leads to higher operating costs.
Okay, so how do we fix this? Can we learn anything from other countries that are doing public transportation well?
The analysis suggests that it's definitely not too late to change things. The key is to learn from the countries that have figured out how to build more affordable and efficient public transit systems.
So what, like steal their homework?
Well, more like study their methods, right? We could look at streamlining station designs, improving accountability in how we manage the money, and maybe the most important thing is making public transit a more attractive and reliable option for people.
Yeah, it's got to be appealing and easy to use.
Exactly. If it's a hassle, people aren't going to bother.
Makes sense. But it's not just about public transportation, right? The way our cities and suburbs are designed plays a huge role, too. I mean, our source talks about the allure of cheaper, larger homes in the suburbs. It's hard to resist that space.
Oh, absolutely. And when you're living out in the suburbs, having a car often feels like the only way to get around.
You're kind of stuck.
It reinforces that car dependence. But even with the way things are laid out, there are things we can do to make alternative transportation more realistic.
Okay, so what are some of those things? How do we start shifting the balance?
Well, one idea is to loosen up the rules around micromobility. That includes things like e-bikes and scooters. They're flexible, relatively affordable, and great for shorter trips. We also need to get serious about embracing new transportation technologies and figuring out how to make them work with existing public transit systems.
So it's about creating a more integrated system.
Exactly. And of course, making public transit itself more efficient and affordable would be a huge step in the right direction.
So taking a step back and looking at everything we've talked about, what really stands out to me is that this whole car dependence thing in America, it wasn't inevitable.
You got it.
It was the result of choices that were made a long time ago.
Exactly.
And that means we have the power to make different choices now.
We're not locked into this path, that's for sure.
Recognizing that is a powerful first step, right? It means car dependence isn't some unchangeable reality. We can actually work towards a future where we have more choices, more sustainable options, more equitable ways to get around.
Absolutely. I think that's a great way to put it.
It makes me wonder, though, what would it really take for people to embrace those alternatives? What trade-offs would they be willing to make?
That's a good question.
That's definitely something to think about. And if you found this deep dive as interesting as we did, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more.
We'll keep digging into the tough questions, so stay tuned.
We'll see you next time.
See ya!